no doubt about it. All right, let's get into some Jaire talk. Y'all ready for it? I know Tim's excited about this. So they had Peter Schrager on the Pat McAfee show earlier today. Tim, can you get me a screen grab ready, Tim, if you don't mind, sir?
Yes, sir.
You do the Jeff Halfley would be fine.
Let's go with Tupac and Shug here.
There you go.
Hey, Miss Green says we just got $1 million idea. Rednecks and Scotties would be a dope podcast name.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that would stay monetized on YouTube the entire time there, Mrs. Green. All right, so here was Peter Schrager on the Pat McAfee show talking about Jaire Alexander. Now, we've been kind of covering this every step of the way. You guys know supposedly some more information came out from, I believe it was Jeremy Fowler, but if anybody was paying attention, Rob Domofsky actually reported the same exact thing like a week ago, 5 days ago or whatever. Now, he caught a bunch of heat over it because they said he's backtracking on his original 99.5%. I'm not in those Twitter waters. I'm not on Twitter to argue with people that I've never met, which, by the way, can we just say something real quick? Isn't it hilarious that all those people that were arguing and ready to kill each other on Twitter all year long, we get up to the draft, everybody lost that energy quick, didn't they? Everybody just got along. It's hilarious. It's like that video where, you know what I'm talking about? It's got the two dogs and they're looking like they're going to kill each other, and they move the fence and they just calm down. And then all of a sudden the fence comes back. The fence comes back and they're ready to kill each other again. It's like, yeah, that was funny to me in Green Bay. And listen, nobody's going to Lambeau to start trouble, but it's just like, where's all those internet tough guys we dealt with all year long, man?
I'm too old for this, right on the money. Can't lose energy if you never had it.
Exactly. Anyway, but here was Peter Schrager. We had the privilege of meeting him at a steakhouse on Wednesday night when we got into Green Bay. Tim, you were there.
Oh, man.
It was really, really cool. He's an awesome dude, man. Awesome dude. Like, you see some of these guys, Jacob, and you think, yeah, little media dude. I think Peter Schrager's like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". He's a big old boy.
Yeah, no. Schrags could play tight end.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So anyway, here's what Peter Schrager had to say about Jaire Alexander, and he actually had lunch with Matt LaFleur. Schrager did the week of the draft. Here we go.
Briggs, do you have any I
want to say this. Anything with the McAfee show, guys, earmuff it.
Earmuff.
I don't think there's language, but you know how this goes. There could be an F-bomb in here, so just be prepared.
On Jaire Alexander, it seemed like before the draft, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that the Packers were either going to trade him or cut him. And then as we've kind of progressed here, now they've reached some sort of resolution, allegedly, where maybe he's going to come back. But whatever it is, there will be some sort of announcement on him in the coming weeks. Do you have any update on that whatsoever? I know you talked to Matt LaFleur over draft week.
Yeah. I had a lovely dinner with Matt LaFleur during draft week in Green Bay, and I brought it up, and I don't think he'd mind me saying like, we're actually in a good place with Jaire. You know, obviously there was some stuff last year and the coin toss situation a couple of years back, and all that stuff is all head-scratching stuff that it would drive a coach nuts when you're trying to run a disciplined program. But from what I gather, this thing is in a lot better place than what was being presented in the media, and that there is a place for Jaire Alexander in Green Bay, and I think he and Jeff Halfley actually have had a great relationship, and it's a different breed and it's a different time. And I don't know exactly how it nets itself out, but like when he was being listed as that number one trade target, I don't think that was coming from Green Bay. And if you know Goody at all, he wasn't leaking that to anybody. So that was a lot of outside noise, I believe. We'll see how it figures itself out, though.
You gave me a lot of information in that one sentence about the coin toss situation. Whenever you're trying to run a disciplined operation and accountability-driven operation, and you got guys just making themselves captain because he thinks you forgot where he was from on that. He didn't know. He just forgot, I think. Made himself captain. I would like to let you know, and you can tell LaFleur this the next time, and he probably has seen our reaction. We thought that was one of the most legendary moves in history, just naming yourself captain, and then afterwards being like,
you didn't like it.
No, I loved it. Now, if it was on a team I was on, I'd be like, that's wild that you did that. But just from outside looking in, that's one of the boldest, most hysterical things I've ever seen. And then afterward, just being like, I think you just forgot. to make me a captain.
He knows.
I'm from Charlotte.
Yeah.
He should know. Like, I'm from Charlotte.
I'm supposed to be the captain here. It's kind of how it works in the history of the NFL, which is a pretty accurate sentiment, too. If you don't have main captains and you have a rotating captain, if you have a starter or a leader on a team in their hometown, normally kind of given the nod to kind of represent the team at the coin toss, and Jaire just being like, yeah, I guess LaFleur just got caught up in some other things this week.
All right, so
Took it down the sideline, turned up with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
This is just more confirmation. You can pull that down now, Tim. Thank you so much for that. But this is just more confirmation that, like, I don't know. It feels like Jaire's going to be back in Green Bay. It just makes sense. I mean, there's not another team that's going to go out and pay him a bunch of guaranteed money with the injury history here recently. And the fact that he did get suspended for a game, Jacob, all that stuff comes into play, right? So I think that what's probably going to happen here, in my opinion, they'll restructure the contract whether Jaire wants to or not. He's going to look up and go, my best offer is in Green Bay. And I could see them taking that base salary of whatever it is, $17 million, cutting it down to, let's say, $7 million, and then give him the ability to make all that back or maybe even more in incentives if he is healthy and actually playing in the games a certain amount of snaps. You know what I'm saying? But it does kind of feel like Jaire's going to be back as you see him here with the baby goat. I just pulled together the most outrageous pictures of Jaire Alexander for this article, man. But what do you think?
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
You think he's coming back, Jacob?
I do, yeah. Just for a number of the reasons you just listed, and also I think he wants to play ball, and I think that he knows the best shot he has is, like you said, coming back to Green Bay. And I would love it if they did, if they structured it and had incentive-based. I say this all the time. I don't get why more contracts aren't predominantly incentive-based to the point where if the guy balls out, he makes a lot of money, probably more than I'd be willing to pay him on just like a per contract basis. You know what I'm trying to say? So, like, I'd rather look at it year by year with these. I highlighted that. I thought that was pretty great. Just going, especially with the guy, like you said, that maybe is towards the end of his career, possible playing time in Green Bay, a guy that maybe wants to have a catalyst to go to another team and maybe have a career resurgence, a guy that wants to still be considered as one of the top, cornerbacks in the league. It really hasn't produced in the last 3 years, like the way that the reputation has been built around him. So I think it's a perfect time, especially if you come in and be like, dude, yeah, play more than 12 games, we'll give you this amount incentive bonus. Play more than 14 games, we'll give you this amount. Play more than 16. Hey, you get over 5 picks. Here's another, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like it would just be fun if we could actually get a Jaire that is, right there, that is just old Jaire. It would be night and day for this defense.
Here to tell you, Pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Perfect, nailed it. Yeah. So Tim, like when you look at the Jaire situation, there's going to be people that go, "Well, if he was going to be back, he'd already be back." No, he was testing the waters, right? Yep. Like, hey, is there a better deal for me out there somewhere? Is someone willing to trade for me and give me a new deal type thing, more guaranteed money?
Yeah.
It sounds like the market wasn't there, and now everybody's going to be grown-ups and go, all right, this makes sense for both parties. Probably
I feel like everyone was grown-ups from the beginning, right? The Packers, were shopping him. This has been, we're like months into this now. Since free agency started, there were no big swings or no big offers. Hey, you're right. Maybe the best deal is to just play in Green Bay, and it's tough because, it's not the old school anymore. When guys were loyal, they played for, one team, maybe two teams their whole career. Those days are kind of over, man. You see guys that play for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. It's kind of normal now. So you have to look at it from the player's perspective, but you also have to look at it from the organization's standpoint. And like you said numerous times, Clay, and you're 100% correct, is we don't have to wonder what our secondary is going to look like without Jaire. For the last 2.5 years, we've seen it for, 10 and 11 games, 8, 9 games at a time, what it looks like without him. So I think, from the team standpoint, we're ready to go, right? We picked up Nate Hobbs, we drafted a corner. We've got some UDFAs. We've got an underrated guy named Carrington Valentine ready to pop right here in year 3. So I think we're in a position to still be competitive either way it goes. But at the end of the day, I hope he stays. I really do. You got to think about it from his standpoint, like Jacob was saying, like, if you can get something done play ball out this year, re-solidify yourself as, that dude, the top tier corner, at least top 5 corner in the NFL, it helps his stock going forward, regardless of where he ends up. So if they can get something, restructured and keep him here for a year or two, and then ultimately he ends up somewhere else, hey, so what, But I'd love to see him play at least one more year here in Green Bay for sure.
Yeah, me too. I think the team's better with him on it. And if they are able to restructure where they can, get some of that money back if he's not healthy, that's the only real problem here, right? Like after the suspension, he even said, I think it was Wildy that reported this. He said, Jaire said in the locker room, maybe this is exactly what I needed, and he seemed pretty mature about it. Now the injuries are a different ball game, right? And it does kind of feel like there's rumblings behind the scenes that the coaches feel like he's not playing when he could play. Like, when you have him activated on game day and you had him on a pitch count, he only played 10 snaps and he pulled himself out of the game. It's not that the Packers coaching staff's like, he doesn't want to play for the Packers. They're going, hey, bub, we could have used that extra active roster spot, right? That puts us in a bad spot now. So I can understand both sides of that. When you look at the salary cap ramifications from both situations here, if it's post June 1, which we talked about would be the only thing that happens, whether they release him right before camp or even if he gets traded or what have you. If you look at the post June 1 release, you can kind of see how things change, right? Pre June 1, the 2025 dead cap is $17 million and they save $7.5 million, right? But if you go post June 1, the dead cap's only $7.5 million. 2026 dead cap is $9.5 million, and you actually free up $17 million in 2025. So you couple that. Let's say that Jaire isn't on the team, and I hope he is, and I think he most likely will be on the team this year. Me personally, that could be wishful thinking, but let's say he's not, and you move on from Romeo Doubs as well. Those are the two guys who have gotten the only two Packers who have gotten suspended. And I don't know how long, guys. I mean, what's it been, a decade since the Packers have actually suspended someone? I mean, it's been a long time, right? Did Quay have a suspension with his little issue there? He may have. They may have suspended him.
I was going to say,
I think it was for the contact to the official. That was a league suspension.
It definitely wasn't making yourself a captain. It wasn't skipping practice. So it's more of a in the heat of the moment thing, right? So with that being said, you couple those two players together with the cap save, you're saving over $20 million in cap space in 2025 that will roll into 2026 in that regard. So I just wanted to point out the salary cap ramifications there. This might be my favorite Jaire pick.
There you go.
Look at this guy right here. Jacob's got that same jacket, don't you, Jacob?
Yes.
Yeah, the Pootie Tang jacket right there.
My favorite.
That's the Pootie Tang.
My favorite part of this show, this picture. I'm sorry, it's not the Pootie Tang comment. My favorite part of this picture is look at Tom Pelissero right here, guys. He's like, what in the? Of course, Tom Pelissero is 123% Caucasian. He doesn't understand anything about the guy. Right? So it's hilarious, man. And then of course you got the
breaking. Tom Pelissero does not appreciate the swag.
Exactly. So you guys can go check out the article. It's just talking about how the team would obviously be improved, if Jaire's back, pointing out the salary cap issue, all that stuff. And again, this is everything you've got access to in our Patreon group. So any